We'll turn again to 1 Peter chapter 5 today, and we'll read the 3 verses from 5 to 7. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. In today's world, the exhortation is to be yourself, or to assert yourself, or even the rather vague and probably meaningless phrase, be true to yourself. I'm not really sure what that means. However, it seems to me that what lies behind this kind of phrase is a self-centered approach to life, and that is not the Christian approach. For example, in Romans chapter 15 verse 3, Paul reminds us that even Christ pleased not himself, and it is this wonderful fact that leads him in Philippians chapter 2 verse 4 to write, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. It was Martin Luther King who said that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So after writing about the elders in verses 1 to 4 of this chapter, and the need for them to exhibit selfless service, Peter proceeds to consider the younger believers, and he writes, likewise ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Now it may be that Peter's thinking about the need for younger believers to be subject to those who are actually older than them, or it may be that Peter is thinking of submission to the elders here. And that would remind us of the importance of humbly accepting the care that they have for the flock. You might ask the question, what does Peter mean by be subject? Again, I don't think that he has in view the idea of allowing yourself to be put down. I rather think that he means to submit yourself to the shepherding of elders. Allow yourself to be served or shepherded. Sometimes we're too proud to admit that we need help, but we do need to be clothed with humility, as Peter writes in verse 5. Now let's not forget the phrase, all of you be subject one to another in this verse. Maybe I could put it this way, be subject to their needs, submit yourself in service to all the saints. What a difference it might make to our testimony if that were to be the case. Now, whenever Peter writes in verse 6, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, he may have in mind the words of the Lord Jesus in Luke chapter 14, where he said, whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted, verse 11 of that chapter. Humility is something that befits us as children of God. We have every reason to be humble, no less so whenever we consider the mighty hand of our God. As the chorus says, I am weak, but thou art strong. It's in verse 7 that we have one of the most precious promises of this letter. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. The paraphrase of the end of this verse that I like the most is, it matters to him about you. Our elders might fail in their care for us. We might fail in our care for each other. I know that I fail. But there is one whose care never falters and never fails, because we matter to him. And I hope that we matter as believers to each other.